Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. Today we'll be going over Git. We would learn the fundamentals, things to just get you started on Git. So Git is a version control system. And what this means is that while you're working on the document, Git will store the different versions, which are like the different changes you've made to that document without erasing the previous one, of course. So we see Git is most useful when we're working with other people because with Git, you can get a copy of your main file, work on that file, and when you're done with that, you can merge it with the main file. So at no point will you disrupt the main file. You just get copies of it. So different people can have copies of their files, and when they're done with that, they merge it with the main file. So we would download Git from this site, and I will leave the link to the site in the description box. So if you're using Windows, you go down to download for Windows, you get that there. And if you're using Mac, you will get it here. You will just follow the default prompt while downloading. It's pretty easy. And when you're done downloading your Git, you will get this pop-up window. And this is the Git bash. So this is what we're going to use to make our changes and all that. So the first thing you'll do here is register your name and your email. Now, this is important, particularly important when you're working with other developers. So people are aware of who posted what at a particular time. So we're going to start with registering our name and email. Now that's done. Next thing is we're going to open a file, a folder, where we'll create two files, which will work with and save, so that we see the full effect of Git. So let's open a new folder. Let's call it Git Learn. And from this folder, we can open Git Bash. So look at it here, open Git Bash here. So we can see that it's tracking. We have Git Bash that is, from Git Learn, we have opened Git Bash. You can see the Git Learn folder here. So let's just close this. We won't be needing that. So I'm going to open two files, HTML file and a CSS file. Now the key word while opening a file is you use touch, the touch command. So I'm going to say touch index.html. Yes, then touch style.css. So we can see, if we open this folder, we'll see that we have two files created, and that touch word is not there, just index.html and style.css. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is use an IDE, get some basic code in my HTML file, and let's see how Git corresponds to that. So I'm going to open my IDE, which is a VS Code. And I will just type in some basic HTML code. In the head tag, let me have a title, learn Git, then have a body. the p tag. We'll just say all about it. Okay, so right now, if we check this folder here, we don't have Git initialized in it. So to initialize Git, so as to get Git tracking these files, we have to get Git inside this folder. So we do that by coming to our Git bash and typing Git in it. So we can see that we now have a Git folder. So this folder is responsible for all the trackings that will go on in our file. Now there are 3 stages in Git. We have the Git, the untracked, that is, Git is not tracking any of your files. Then the staged, that means the file has been added to Git's version control, and the committed, that means the file has been, whatever changes you make has been saved. So let's open our VS Code. We can see it has this U here. It's not being tracked. We can close this. So to get it tracked, that is, we will now go to the staged phase of Git. What we'll do here in our Git bash is git add. Now you can add all the files, that you can add these two, index and CSS, at once. So that's git add space dot. It looks as if nothing has happened, but when we check the status, git status on branch main, that's this main branch, no commit yet. We can see that these 2 files are green, and they've both been staged. So you don't have to stage everything. You can stage one file. So let's practice that. And if I just saved my code in the VS Code and it's changed to this. So what was I saying? If you want to stage one file at a time, you can do that. So let me remove one file. So git, sorry, my cursor is still here. Git remove the file name. Let me remove style.css. So it has been removed. Now, if you want to check if it has been removed, we can do the same thing, use git status. So we can see that one has been removed, one has been modified. What's just telling us that this file has been modified because style.css has been removed. You can see that here is showing M modified, and this has been, let's save it. Yes, this one is showing M, I modified it, I've not staged it. This one is showing U, it has been removed, so it's untracked. So if I want to track it, I can say git add. This time I'm going to specify the file name, style.css. Enter. Let's git status. Okay, so now it's just showing that this index, you can see that this is in green now, but I've not staged this index.html. If I come to my VS Code and save, you can see it's A now. It's being tracked. So the index.html now, let's stage it. Git add. Let's add index.html. Status. Okay, so now we can see that everything is in green. Everything has been staged. Look at it here. Everything has been staged. So for VS Code, all I'm doing is just Control S to save and get this up to date. So to commit your file, that's to save it now. You will type git commit -m, Now for this we're going to type in comments. That's to show at what happened, what you changed, just to make it easy to understand when your later self revisits your code. So most of the time for your first code, the first version, you can just say initial commits. That shows that this is your first version of it. Later on, you can go into details of things you changed so that you understand what you did there. So initial commit, close, and that is it. So it's showing that everything has been committed. So next up, we would push this to GitHub, which is a remote repository where you can save your files. So in this stage, we are going to save our folder in a remote repository. There are different remote repositories, but I use GitHub. So to sign up to a GitHub account is pretty easy. You just Google GitHub and it will take you to the sign up page. So this is my GitHub account, and I'm going to get a new repository. So repository name, learn Git, and we click this create repository button. Scroll down. So I'm going to copy this link, open Git bash, and paste it. Press enter. Then this Git push, I'll copy it and paste it here. Press enter. So with this, we should have a new repository. Let's go to my repositories, learn Git, open it. So we can see our index, HTML and CSS file, and the code that we wrote in there. So what I did in this video was to show you the basics that you would need to get started with Git. And there are other things that you can do with Git, which is Git ignore, where you can specify the files that will be tracked. Then also you can create branches. I didn't go into that now. I just wanted what you need. I just wanted to go into what you need to get you started with Git. So if you stayed with me for this long, I'm grateful, and see you in the next video. Bye.